The truth has finally leaked behind the New York Knicks trade deadline plans. As with the trade deadline coming up quickly and only a few more games before the NBA gets shaken up at the deadline, we have seen multiple targets emerge for the Knicks according to insiders. While on top of that, what we are also seeing is a team that has made it very clear what they want to do at the deadline themselves, what the Knicks really want to get done, and the moves that they are going to be making. There's been a ton of noise surrounding right now what the Knicks are going to do trade deadline, as it has never been more clear than it is now. But before we get into all the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And if you download it using the link in our description below and use code DIGESTNBA, you will get $20 off the first 100 that you trade. Now, Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States. And on their platform, you can trade yes, no on real life events like sports, the weather, elections, news, and pretty much everything. Now, whether you're in New York, California, Texas, or anywhere across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. And for sports fans, it gets even better, as you can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. And guys, the NFL playoffs are among us right now, and most trades have the Seattle Seahawks winning it all, winning the Super Bowl, and I do too. I'm a huge Sam Darnold fan. I'm a diehard New York Jets fan. I loved him at the time. I loved him all the way back in college. And if you trade $10 on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, you could win 45. Now, on top of that, you could pick other teams, and all that happens is the money increases because Seattle is the most traded on team. Now, guys, once again, use code DIGESTNBA so you can get $20 when you trade your first 100. Thank you to Kalshi, and let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over today. Now look, obviously there has been a ton of talk surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo more than anyone else when it comes to the Knicks trade deadline. But obviously, as we know, that is something a lot more complicated, and there is a lot of legs to that. We did just talk about the newest update on that as well, so make sure to check that video out. But when it comes to Guerschon Yabusele, things are becoming more and more clear by the day. With the Knicks having a specific trade target for him, there is a lot of noise showing that Yabu's going to get moved. As mentioned by Brett Sigel, since the Knicks are right up against their second apron hard cap, they are unable to take back more salary than outgoing salary in any potential trades over the next 2 weeks. Not only is Yabusele being involved in trade dialogue, but New York is also exploring the possibility of attaching a minimum contract to said discussions, specifically second-year guard Pacome Dadiet. And this all comes back to the money of it all. As Sigel mentioned, between these two contracts, the Knicks have approximately $8.3 million to play with and to try to add one or two more impactful talents for what this organization believes can be a championship push this season. With Sigel also mentioning that it is worth noting that New York already has an open roster spot, and trading two players for one before the deadline would force them to add at least one player to their roster. And here's where everything does get a little bit out of control with that, because the Knicks would need the money to work, because they can't go into that second apron. So if they traded a 2-for-1, like a lot of these deals, where the Knicks would be trading Yabusele and Dadiet for one specific player, they actually might not have the money to retain a second guy, meaning they have 13 guys on roster. You can have 13 guys or less on the roster for 14 straight days in the NBA to maximum, and 28 total days in the season. The Knicks understand that, and there's a world where, yes, they do end up doing a trade like that, understand they have 13 guys, and then use a contract on Dink Pate, because Pate has 0 years of NBA experience, so he would cost a bit less than Kevin McCullough Jr., who does technically have a year of NBA experience on his contract. Same goes for Dylan Jones and Trey Jemison, the other guys who are on two-way contracts. That's important to know here, because it means Pate would be getting a roster spot and preventing him from going back to the NCAA, where he has had some interest in going. So all of this does start to come on top of each other, and you start to see everything surrounding it, at least when it comes to Yabusele. Now, Yabusele is just not having a good season. I mean, we could dance around it whatever way we want to dance around it, but he just has not really been there when you look at his percentile rankings. I mean, just putting up 2.8 points per game, he's not really getting anywhere. I mean, in the 26th percentile for the entire NBA in points is not something the Knicks signed up for when they gave him that mid-level exception deal. They thought he was going to be giving them more than that. I mean, the minutes have gone down basically instantly since the preseason when Yabu just was not performing well. The assists weren't there. The true shooting is in the 16th percentile of all players. This is just stuff that you don't want to see. Stuff that makes you feel like, okay, what exactly did we get here? And the answer is not much, honestly. Like, look, he's been a solid rebounder, and outside of that, he really for the minutes that he's playing, he's been a solid rebounder. But outside of that, we really haven't seen anything to kind of understand, are we willing to go die on a hill like this? Specifically when the Knicks do have interest in other talent. Talent like Jeremy Sochan, as Sigel mentioned. In discussions with the Spurs, the Knicks have inquired about 2022 9th overall pick Jeremy Sochan. Sochan is in the final year of his rookie contract and will be a restricted free agent this summer. His defensive versatility at either forward position and slashing abilities on offense would fit in with New York's style of play. Although Sochan has been out of the Spurs rotation, there has been internal pushback in San Antonio to the idea of trading him. Now, the Spurs still value Sochan's presence and have yet to indicate they will actually trade him before the deadline, while San Antonio does hold interest in adding more front court help behind star big man Victor Wembanyama. Yabusele is no longer as high on the target list as he once was. We do know that at one point the Spurs definitely did want to add Guerschon Yabusele, specifically in the offseason. But now things have certainly started to change a little bit, just when it comes down to who Sochan is as a player compared to who Yabu is as a player this season. Because, yeah, Sochan has not gotten a ton of time. There's no doubt about that. Nobody's pretending that that's not the case. But at the same time, what we're seeing is a guy who is clearly better than Yabu at this point. So, when we look at Sochan's numbers, what we see is a player who definitely has been better than Yabu. There's no way around it. Look, only 4.2 points per game is not great. And truly not shooting well either. Shooting under 26% from the three-point line is not good at all. Only the 24th percentile of the NBA. He has not been an efficient shooter, but he is an efficient defender. Yabusele hasn't been efficient on either side of the ball. So, Sochan does give you someone who's also younger and who the Knicks can try to rebuild the value of. The problem is, when you have a guy like Sochan who is on a contract that's expiring, things start to get a little bit nerve-wracking, because how much is he going to be demanding as a restricted free agent? Will a team try to poison pill the Knicks into basically having to either agree to give Sochan more money than they want to, or let him walk for nothing? Now, given this does free up some salary for the Knicks, so maybe they are okay with that, and that would make some sense. What we do know for a fact is that the trade deadline is about 2 weeks away, under that now, and the Knicks have actively been talking to multiple teams about Yabusele. And Yabusele is out there retweeting things, about his value and about getting traded for a good spot. Would absolutely change everything about him right now, basically indicating that he doesn't feel like he's in a great spot, and then also tweeting out, whatever happens tomorrow, I'm extremely blessed to be in the position that I am today. Minor setback for a major comeback. That's my favorite. Love y'all. And then Mitchell Robinson, who has sent about as many cryptic posts as anyone as a member of the Knicks, said, "What's this about, big dog?" Clearly, this could be about a trade. It could also be about, like, dealing with some sort of injury, but it's also it could be about life. I mean, we've seen Mitchell Robinson go off on tweet tangents. The big thing about Yabu, though, is that his value's lower because he's got a player option that, as of right now, he's obviously taking that $5.775 million. It's just something we know that he's going to take, especially with the way he's played this season. So, whatever team trades for Yabusele isn't getting this contract off the books, so they're going to have to believe in him to some degree so the Knicks can get off of the salary. That's the thing that makes things difficult out here. Now, also, Sochan's not the only guy who the Knicks have held interest in. The team has also held interest in Naji Marshall. Marshall is a very, very, very good player and would fit this team absolutely incredibly well, because when we look at him, he does all the things you want to do. He's a great defender. He's a good cutter. He's played good basketball. He's averaging 15 points per game this season with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. He's playing big minutes. He's above the 75th percentile in every single offensive volume stat, whether that's points, rebounds, assists. We're seeing it all. The true shooting is in the 85th percentile in the league, and the field goal percentage is even better. Yeah, he's not some knockdown three-point shooter, but the Knicks have enough of those. What they want out of Marshall is a guy who was creating shots in the mid-range, like what happened when the Knicks played against him, and also playing good defense, things that he does very well. 1.1 steals per game is very, very impressive. It's the stuff like this that you do ultimately like to see out of the guys who you're trying to bring in. And there has been a ton of talk about bringing in Naji Marshall. Now, as Sigel said, outside of the Knicks holding talks with the Spurs and Pelicans as of late, and we will talk about the Pelicans in another video, New York is one of many teams that has also expressed interest in trading for Dallas Mavericks wing Naji Marshall. Now, due to the lack of wing talent on the trade market this season and the demand for such players increasing, Marshall is expected to drive a significant market, with some league personnel suggesting Dallas might be able to fetch a first-round pick when all is said and done. The Knicks do have that Wizards pick that is top 8 protected. It feels the Wizards will net that pick ultimately, but it's always possible that something crazy happens. Now, here's the thing with Marshall. This contract is difficult. He's making $9 million. Yabusele plus Pacome Dadiet does not equal that contract. What the Knicks would have to do is some sort of deal where if they tried to acquire Marshall, they'd have to trade these two plus more. And by plus more, I do mean Jordan Clarkson. Now, I'm not saying that's not a good trade. It's a trade I would make if the Knicks could, but the Knicks would not have enough players to get back to 14 guys on the roster. There's just no feasible way the Knicks end up winning these Naji Marshall sweepstakes, and we really shouldn't kind of get held up on it because I just don't see a world where it happens right now. I do see Sochan as a real option. We know the Knicks have held interest in Jeremy Sochan, and Naji Marshall I would absolutely love. I just don't see a way that the Knicks would find. It doesn't feel like a real possibility. Sorry for the lack of audio for a second. But look, when we look at that, what we do see is someone who would be great, but again, doesn't work. Sochan does make some sense. The Knicks would still have to do a 2-for-1, and they would be able to acquire Dink Pate after to cover up for that. Do you want to see that one happen? Let me know what you think about that trade in the comments down below. I'm holding out hope for the Alvarado-Misi deal. I think it is possible, and we are going to talk about that very soon. I know we did talk about it a bit. We're going to talk about the update, and we have so much more going on the channel. So you want to make sure to be subscribed to Knicks Digest, like this video, turn on post notifications. Let me know what you think of the new setup. Have a great day, guys. Go Knicks.